Today we're going to speak about a very interesting topic, okay? Yesterday I spoke about the Matrix, right? And we broke down like the story, uh, the symbolicness of the film, right? Besides the entertainment, there's a story, there's a lesson, there's a message that we need to learn and understand, right? So today we'll talk about the parallels between the Matrix, right? The story, the film, right? The movies, and the awakening souls of today, what's happening currently in the world now at this moment. Remember that the movie, right, is all about people living in a simulation, right, and in a matrix, and they controlled by this matrix. Is designed for control, okay, controlled by certain beings, and they call him the machine, okay, and it's the agents that are used to actually control and make sure that the people don't revolt against the system or the machine. Right? So many awakening souls in this reality awakening currently, many souls that have been sleeping are now awakening. People have now been realizing what's going on, what is really happening in life. They have questions. They're beginning to see that there's something going on, that there's something, things are not really what they seem to be. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the awakening process, how you can move from being asleep and how you can awoke and be awakened into reality of what's going on. Now remember, there is a choice. Some people do know that we are in a simulation, that we are being controlled. Some people do know that this reality has been manipulated, but they choose to stay in it. They choose to stay in it and not take the red pill, but take the blue pill, according to the movie when Neo was given a choice, right? When he was awoke, he was just living firstly, not awoke. He was just living, drifting in life, doing his mundane work as whatever he was. I think he was a technician, software technician or something like that. Because in the beginning of the movie, they show his first life, his mundane life, before he was actually approached by Morpheus and Morpheus and his team to actually wake up from the slumber and the forgetfulness of the matrix, because it makes you forget who you are. You get caught in the glut and the grind of life and you forget who you are. So then Neo was then asked, does he want to awake? What choice does he take? The blue pill to stay asleep or the red pill? Okay, so the call of awakening, what we call it? The call of awakening may appear in many ways, right? You might just have this idea that there's something is wrong, something is not in perfect place, and you have questions that cannot be answered by your religion, by your society, by your culture. So Neo's awakening began when he was offered that choice, you understand? And many people at this time are being offered the choice to wake up or stay asleep, but most people choose the illusion. For many souls, it begins with a deep questioning of yourself, maybe a crisis in your life, a heartbreak, a loss, you understand, and a sudden sense that something's not right here, a sudden sense that there's something wrong in this reality, that there's an imbalance here, what's going on. They say certain things and they do certain things that, the leaders or those people that run really control the matrix. Remember that our governments or the frontliners, the spokespeople, spokespersons, people that talk on behalf of the ones that were ruling the world and the back end. I'm sure you've heard of the shadow governments, right? Now we're talking about conspiracies, because they will call it conspiracies. Remember that in the matrix there is truths, 80%, and then 20% is lies. It's a distraction as well. The 20%. So you have to understand what is the truth and what is a lie. Thank you so much, Panda, for your appearance and joining my live. Today we're talking about the matrix, parallels between the movie and reality. What's really happening at this moment. Many people, many souls are awakening to the truth at the moment of what's happening. That we are truly in a simulation, that we are being controlled by unseen forces. Some of us call it the Illuminati and all the other things. There's all sorts of names for these type of things, right? The shadow governments, and it goes on. Now, in the film, Neo's awakening can be seen similar to what's happening now at the moment, when people are awakening and taking charge and deciding what's really going on here. Are they going to continue and take the pill and stay asleep, or awake and take the red pill.